Hello, welcome to another episode of Sherry the Prevention Rates Show. I am Sherry. I am today so excited because I'm hosting another scientist and another researcher. Remember, I told you that Sherry the Prevention Rates Show will bring guests that have experience, that have evidence-based information. So this makes this show credible source of health information because not only my guests give stock from the guts, but also they have researched and they have documented all the things that they are talking about. Today, I am so happy because I am joined by a woman who has been a great inspiration to many because she attained a PhD in a very young age. So she is such a great model to many of public health officers, especially when we talk about women. So today she has hosted us in this beautiful home whereby she's done a lot of landscaping, but this time landscaping, it's not all about flowers. We have a lot of food and she'll be telling us why food. So it's not only that the plants are giving food, but also for aesthetics. This is a very beautiful home, and I am so much going ahead of myself because I am excited because I'm hosting a colleague, a public health officer just like me. Today we are doing protection, we are doing prevention, and we are making it simple and achievable. So together, let's welcome Dr. Liz Kimani Murage. Dr. Liz, hi, how are you?
Good.
Karibu sana. I want just to welcome you, because you're a researcher, you are a scientist. Most of the time, researchers and scientists, you only see their signatures appended to documents because they are either, in the field collecting data and doing analysis. But today, you are here with us. Karibu sana.
Yeah, thank you.
You can introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sherry. I'm very delighted to be in this show today. And my name is Dr. Elizabeth Kimani Murage. I'm a senior research scientist at the African Population and Health Research Center. I do a lot of work related to food. I am an activist for human rights and especially for the right to food. So I'm really in the space of food justice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to say you are also an advocate of the High Court.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So rich. No wonder you're talking about human rights.
Yes.
But I think that we can discuss for another day. But today, Liz, you are so much into nutrition and into food. What inspired you to do the food justice nutrition? What inspired you really?
Yes, I have been a researcher for a very long time,
Yeah.
and have been doing research in amongst the urban poor, especially amongst vulnerable communities. I've done work in urban poor settings in Nairobi, and I have also done work in other settings, vulnerable populations, even drylands. And really, I have seen a lot of vulnerability. Like work that I did many years ago in urban poor settings in Nairobi. Like in Korogosho, Viwandani, those kind of places, we learned that very few women are able to breastfeed their children optimally because they have to go looking for food. They are not. They have to leave their children behind without optimal breastfeeding. So they can't leave their breast milk behind because they don't have good ways of storing the milk. And so they go looking for work and leave their babies without food, without breast milk. And so we also learned that children and young children are highly malnourished. Like we learned like almost 50% of children are stunted, meaning that they are too short for their age.
Okay.
They are not growing optimally, and it's because of these kind of things that they are not breastfed well, they are not fed well. So that's what now really motivated me to get into this space of issues of food security, food justice, because as women were telling us, you talk to us about breastfeeding, about feeding our children optimally, but where is the food? Where is that food? And then we have to go looking for work because we don't have money even to buy food or to even feed ourselves.
Yes.
And all those things. So really, we learned, and we also did work. We have also done work that indicated high levels of food insecurity in these communities. About 80%, over 80% of households being food insecure.
Wow.
So really, it's a lot of issues. So for me, that's where this kind of
The
interest.
inspiration started.
Yes.
I can hear you've done so much. And no wonder you are in the program. What do you call it? Zero Hunger?
Yes, Zero Hunger Initiative.
What is that initiative all about? Does it mean every time we should be feeling full? Full.
Yeah, so actually it's really about, so there's Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
There's Sustainable Development Goal number 2.
Yes.
It talks about ending hunger.
Yeah.
So really the initiative is to end hunger. And ending hunger, really, it's really ensuring that people, the right, so in this initiative we have is about promoting freedom from hunger.
Yeah.
And the right to adequate food.
Yes.
Our constitution, the 2010 constitution, talks about about freedom from hunger, like a right, as part of the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
And the right to adequate food. When we talk about the right to adequate food, we are talking about food that is accessible, food that is nutritious, and food that is safe for people.
Okay.
And nutritious.
Acceptable, nutritious, and safe.
Yes.
So not only that there is food available.
Yes.
There is more to that.
So this Zero Hunger Initiative really emanated from, as I told you, we have done a lot of work amongst vulnerable populations.
Yes.
Like even here in Kenya, where we found very high levels of food insecurity, high levels of malnutrition. And so really this is about promoting access to safe, nutritious, and healthy food to people.
Okay.
And it's really about, because we are talking about the right to food, a human rights perspective.
Yes.
It's really engaging communities also
Yeah.
to be able to be aware about the right and about what they can do, and really creating solutions with communities in terms of how they can make access food
Adequate, nutritious, and safe.
Yes.
Still on that, Dr. Liz, Kenya is considered to be one of the agricultural countries. Everybody is talking about agriculture, we are farmers and all that. There is somewhere a document I saw saying that 70% of Kenyans, they lack food. Is it they face food insecurity? Face food insecurity. Is that the case? What do you exactly mean when you say 70%? Because that is more than a half, meaning that they don't have adequate, nutritious, and safe food. What is exactly that? Please paint a picture for us.
Yeah, so there is a lot of food being produced, but that doesn't mean that people have access to that food.
Okay.
There are a lot of people that are not able to access the food, especially from the perspective of economic access.
Okay.
People don't have economic access to food, like people living in urban poor settings.
Yeah.
Or even in urban areas generally. Let's say generally in urban areas, many people do not have access to food from an economic perspective.
Okay.
There are those also people who may not have access to food even physically, like people living in drylands.
Yeah.
The places they are hit by droughts many times.
Yes.
And so they do not have that food. The food is not available in their space. But we are talking about our food systems.
Yeah.
Our food systems have become very uninclusive. They are not inclusive. They have failed to feed people. They have failed to include people to be equitable.
Yeah.
So we have some people who have access to a lot of food, and other people who do not have access to the food. So there is a lot of inequity in the food system.
Yes.
So there are people with a lot of food and others without food. And there is also the issue of even places where there is a lot of food production. A lot of that food is getting wasted because maybe the food is even getting wasted in the farms. They don't have good storage, and the transport systems are not good, so they are not facilitating transport of that food to the people that do not have food. And a lot of food is also getting wasted in the markets.
Sure.
Yes.
And that is where I was coming to, because I am wondering what can be done, or where have we gone wrong? Because there is There are people who have surplus, there are other people who do not have. Right now, when you walk to Wakulima Market or Githurai Market, or my hometown market, Gakoromone Market, you'll find a lot of wastage, a lot of rotten tomatoes, rotten mangoes, cabbages, all that wastage. When you go to Kisumu, you'll find maybe in the market there's a lot of rotten fish. Where are we going wrong, and what can be done so that there can be that equity?
Yes, like I said, there is a lot of food being wasted, either at the farm level or even at the market level.
Yeah.
And we need to, even at the household level, a lot of food is being wasted. So there are different things that can be done. At the household level, people can, we talk about Ubuntu, and in our Zero Hunger initiative that I talked about, one of the things we talk about is Ubuntu, sharing food across our communities, where if you have excess food, you can share with your neighbor.
Yes.
Like now, I have been like promoting urban farming, kitchen gardening, edible landscaping. I have a lot of food. Like you can see these bananas. I have a lot of bananas. I have a lot of fruits in the community, in the farm, in the compound. So I share a lot with even my neighbors here, and my neighbors also give me what they have, so we share, so we are not wasting. But I also share a lot of food, like I showed you that I'm doing a lot of farming with sweet potatoes, cassava. I share with a lot of food with communities, like in urban poor settings. So I send, like when we have a lot of bananas, if like we have 2 excess bunches of bananas, I send them, and I send them along with sweet potatoes and cassava, all those kind of things. So it's that kind of, you're not just keeping food because you have it and you don't know where to take it, you leave it to waste. So that's one thing, that's at the household level. But then we are talking of the big wastages that are happening at the farm level, at the market level. There are systems that can be put in place to ensure that we are not wasting that food. Like I talked about storage of food, and I also talked about transport. Those are systems. Those are, the government can come into place, like county governments, to ensure that people have access to good storage of food, and also that the transport systems are working, so that we are not having people crying about their cabbages getting wasted in the farm, and they don't know where to take it. Like you saw some media shows which were showing women actually crying of their cabbages being wasted when other people are crying of hunger. So we need a system that can be able to ensure that this food is transported to where it is needed optimally. At the market level, a lot of food is also getting wasted there. So there are systems that can be put in place, and under the Zero Hunger initiative, we are initiating, we are promoting a system, a food rescue system, where food can be rescued to places where it could otherwise go to waste, and then redistributed in the system for equity. So, like for example, we are piloting an intervention where we can collect food from the markets, and even supermarkets. We are working with partners who are working with the supermarkets. They are working with the markets, in the green markets, and we can rescue food that could otherwise go to waste, and then redistribute it. And we want to redistribute it to schools, like in settings where people may school feeding programs. So we want to pilot that and see how it works. But it's promising, especially because people are getting to be aware that we could have a system, and it's even people, private sector, people who own businesses, they are also realizing the need for this kind of rescuing food and really redistributing. So we are working with that kind of system, and even the policy makers, guidelines have been developed for policy guidelines. So that's the kind of system that I'm talking about. So you're ensuring you're not wasting food, and that does not only deal with the issue of hunger. It also deals with other issues like climate resilience. Because if a lot of food is going to the landfills, you are wasting food. You're wasting a lot of energy, the production energy, a lot of energy that was used to produce that food, it goes to waste, and then the landfills, a lot of gas emissions from the landfills.
Yes.
So that's what we can do.
The
environment,
yes. The maintaining
yes.
the kind of gases.
Yeah.
So you see, you've addressed it from the policy level, and here, Liz, we like talking about small doable actions and making a big difference in health. You've seen an amazing, wonderful garden, and when you're explaining to us, we saw some of the plants that you have invested in. They're indigenous. They attract less pests. The labor is low, you know. So what can you tell people, you know, at your own space, at your own level, that small thing that you can be able to do to increase the nutrition, food supply in your home for nutrients? And also maybe even somebody can do it for business. Yeah, where can they start? What can they do? What are some of the simple things somebody can do? Because somebody is saying, my space is small. How do I have you leave your space? You have some space. Yeah, maybe tell us.
Yes, I will tell people, start from where you are. Start with what you have at hand. If you have a small space, very small space, I'm sure if you go to people's compounds, you'll find people have planted flowers. Even if it's a small space, they have planted flowers for beautification. Instead of those flowers, instead of those flowers, can you plant fruits? And under that, you can plant sweet potatoes, because sweet potatoes are like they can grow under other trees, other plants. So you plant sweet potatoes as undercover.
Yes.
So you're having sweet potatoes. The sweet potato leaves themselves are food.
Okay.
Yes, you can use sweet potatoes as vegetables. And then the sweet potato itself, the tuber, is now food.
Yes.
And then on top of them, you have the fruits. So you actually, in a very small space, you can produce enough food. And then you can put a small box or container, whatever it is you have. Even these buckets, you can plant some vegetables there, like skuma wiki or spinach.
Yes.
You just need a very small space to be able to be productive for your own, even your own family.
Yeah.
So you can be able to produce. And why I encourage people to be able to produce even as little as they can, you know that whatever you're producing is safe for you and your family.
Absolutely.
Because as you have seen some reports indicating that vegetables in the market, there is a lot of agricultural chemicals residues in these vegetables.
Sure.
So we want to start from where people are, promote good, nutritious food where people are, and then also engage people who are producing food in large scale to ensure that the food is safe for human consumption.
Wow.
So that is like at the very basic level.
Yeah.
If you have a kitchen, a backyard where you can put a kitchen garden, you can do that. Do what you are able to do with what you have. For entrepreneurship, we are in the Zero Hunger Initiative. We are working with youth groups and women groups in communities here in Nairobi. So really, they use spaces, and we are seeing a lot of positivity even with the government.
Yes,
they are providing space. They are committed with their spaces in the community. They are positive towards allowing the youth and women groups to really do whatever they are able to do in that space. So groups are doing farming in those spaces.